ever feel like some people just have that, money magnet, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
just effortlessly attracting wealth while others struggle?
Mm-hmm.
It makes you wonder if there's some kind of hidden reason,
Yeah.
behind those financial success stories. Something beyond just hard work and smarts.
There absolutely is. And that's what we're going to be diving into today. We're going to be looking at the book, The Psychology of Money, The Hidden Path to Wealth and Success. And we're going to be uncovering those surprising forces, the psychological forces that shape our financial behaviors and ultimately our success.
Yeah, I think this book does such a good job of that. It's packed with just all these fascinating stories and examples. I'm thinking about the tech whiz kids
Yeah.
and even the stories about billionaire janitors.
Oh, yeah.
But what I really found interesting is, how it really challenges us to rethink our relationship with money and redefine what financial success really means.
Well, one of the first things it really emphasizes is how deeply our money mindsets are shaped by our backgrounds, our experiences, even the economic climate we grew up in, and all these factors kind of wire our brains,
Yeah.
for certain financial behaviors.
Yeah, it's like a blueprint almost.
Yeah.
It makes sense though when you really think about it. I mean, imagine like growing up during the Depression
Right.
versus, riding that wave of a booming stock market.
Totally different outlooks.
Completely different
Totally
element.
different outlooks. And, the book highlights this one economic study, and it analyzed like 50 years of data, on consumer finances.
Wow.
And it revealed this really striking pattern. It showed that people's investment choices years later were still heavily influenced by the inflation rates they saw as young adults. So those who lived through like high inflation, right,
Wow.
were far less likely to invest in bonds throughout their lives, even when economic conditions changed.
It's incredible. It's like those early experiences are so powerful. They create like this blueprint
Right.
that continues to influence our decisions, and we don't even realize it.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's not just about our past, right?
Mhm.
The book also dives into the role of luck and risk.
Mm.
And that's something that a lot of us maybe are, a little hesitant to acknowledge
Yeah.
or even talk about.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, even Nobel Prize winning economists
Yeah.
struggle to quantify the precise impact of luck. But this book, what it does, it argues that it's far more significant than we often give it credit for.
Right.
So it challenges us to recognize that success isn't solely determined by skill and hard work. There are other factors involved.
So it's not just about making all the right moves,
Mhm.
but also about kind of being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder how many missed opportunities or, lucky breaks have shaped our own financial journeys.
For sure. I mean, let's take, for example, the story of Bill Gates, right? I mean, the
Okay.
guy's brilliant. It's undeniable. But would Microsoft even exist if he hadn't attended one of the only schools in the world at that time, back in 1968,
Wow.
with access to a computer? I mean,
Right.
that lucky break, right?
Right.
Exposed him to technology early on, and that put him on this, like, path to success. That wouldn't have been possible otherwise.
And that's so true. It really highlights how even these seemingly small events
Yeah.
have such a huge impact. But I think that the book also gives this contrasting example, which I think is important. And they talk about Bill Gates' close friend, Kent Evans,
Oh, yeah.
equally brilliant, had a shared passion for computers.
Yeah.
But a tragic accident cut his life short.
Right.
And it really demonstrates that unpredictable nature of risk and how it can completely alter our trajectory.
Yeah, it's a real, kind of sobering reminder that things don't always go according to plan.
Exactly.
Even if you're incredibly talented and hardworking. And I think, these stories, what they really do is they force us to confront the reality that hard work and talent, while they're super important, they don't guarantee success.
They don't guarantee it, no.
And I think maybe that awareness allows us to be both more humble,
Yeah.
in our own achievements, and also more compassionate towards those who haven't had the same, fortunate circumstances.
Right. It makes you think twice about, judging someone's success solely on, their outward achievements.
Totally.
Because we never truly know the full story or the unseen forces that have contributed to their journey. But speaking of journeys, this book also explores this trap that so many of us fall into, the never enough trap.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever felt like you're on this treadmill,
All the time.
always chasing, the next level of wealth, but never quite feeling satisfied?
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Oh, yeah. It's a common struggle for sure.
Yeah.
And the book, what it does is it kind of delves into the psychology behind this,
Right.
right? Explaining how that comparison game really fuels this dissatisfaction, even for those who've already achieved significant success. So it's this constant yearning, right, for more,
Right.
even when we have what we need.
Yeah.
And it keeps us from truly enjoying what we have.
Oh, I think we've all been there. Especially, today with social media.
Oh, yeah.
It's just so easy to get caught up in that.
Yeah.
The thing is, the book doesn't just highlight the problem, right?
No.
It
Yeah.
also offers this alternative.
Yeah,
And it's called The Power of Enough.
that's right. It challenges us to consider contentment, as this key to both wealth and happiness.
Yeah.
So think about it this way. What if, instead of constantly craving more, we focused on appreciating what we have,
Right.
and finding that satisfaction, that feeling of enough
Yeah, this really resonates with me. And, this book, it shares a great anecdote about the author, Joseph Heller.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
And he was at this party, and a hedge fund manager,
Yeah.
comes up to him and he's boasting about, his wealth.
Yeah.
And Heller's response is brilliant. He goes, I have something you'll never have.
Hmm.
Enough.
Ooh, I like that.
It's so good. It's just this brilliant reminder that true wealth isn't just about accumulating more, right?
Right.
It's about cultivating the sense of contentment.
Yeah, precisely. And that contentment can be a real powerful force,
Yeah.
when it comes to making wise financial decisions. It frees us from that anxiety,
Yeah.
of constantly chasing more.
Oh.
And it allows us to make choices that are aligned with our long-term goals and values.
So contentment isn't just about feeling good.
Right.
It's also a practical strategy
Yeah.
for building long-term financial well-being.
Yeah, for sure.
And that brings us to a concept that gets, a lot of financial enthusiasts excited: compounding.
Compounding, yeah.
It's like a financial time machine.
It really is. It's like that snowball effect,
Yeah.
of consistent growth over time where like small gains, they just build upon themselves
Right.
and they generate massive results in the long run. So it's not about, striking it rich quick.
Yeah.
It's about the power of patience,
Yeah.
and allowing those gains to just accumulate.
So instead of seeking out these risky get-rich-quick schemes, it's more about thinking about slow and steady growth over time.
Yeah.
I like that. But how does this concept, actually play out in the real world? Can you give us an example?
Sure. Well, the book uses Warren Buffett as like a prime example of compounding in action. Did you know that a staggering $81.5 billion of his wealth was accumulated after he turned 65?
What?
It's amazing, right?
Wow.
It highlights, the power of time, even with
Yeah.
impressive returns, right? If he had started investing later, his wealth would be significantly less.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. It's a powerful reminder that starting early, even with small amounts, can lead to significant wealth,
Yeah.
over time. It's like planting a seed,
Yeah.
and patiently nurturing it,
Mhm.
and then watching it grow into a mighty tree.
Exactly, exactly. And compounding isn't limited to just like financial investments, right?
Okay.
It applies to knowledge, skills, relationships, anything that grows over time.
Oh, interesting.
Think about the rapid growth of like computer hard drive capacity.
Okay.
For years, progress was slow and steady, but then it just exploded.
So even if we don't see these dramatic results right away,
Yeah.
consistent effort over time can lead to, exponential growth.
That's right.
It's encouraging to know that those, seemingly small steps we take today can have a big impact down the road.
Absolutely. And it kind of raises an interesting question. Do you think it's harder to build a fortune
Okay,
or
yeah.
to hold on to it?
Oh, that is a tough one. They both seem incredibly challenging, and I imagine they require different skills and different mindsets.
You're absolutely right. And that's precisely what the book explores next. It examines why some people excel at, accumulating wealth but struggle to preserve it,
Yeah.
leading to those, classic boom and bust cycles.
Okay. I'm definitely intrigued to hear more about that.
Mm.
What can we learn from those who have mastered both, the art of building and preserving wealth?
Well, the book offers some fascinating insights into that very question, drawing upon stories of both those who succeeded and those who faltered along the way.
So we've talked about building wealth, but I think, the flip side of that coin, preserving wealth, is equally important.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm really curious to kind of explore those contrasting examples that the book provides. What can we learn from them?
Well, one of the stories the book tells is about Jesse Livermore.
Okay.
He was this legendary stock trader from the early 20th century.
Oh, wow.
And he was a prodigy, able to read the market, amass this huge fortune,
Wow.
but he really struggled with keeping his wealth. Made risky bets, lost it all, and sadly his story ended in tragedy.
That's heartbreaking. It's like a cautionary tale, isn't it?
Yeah.
It reminds us that
Yeah.
even with incredible talent, wealth can be fleeting if you don't have the right mindset and the strategies, to protect it.
Exactly. Yeah. Livermore's story really highlights that. The importance of not just, making smart financial decisions,
Right.
but also developing the discipline
Mm.
and emotional intelligence
Yeah.
to manage those gains wisely.
And that's so important, right? Because it's easy to get swept away in the moment.
Yeah.
But now contrast that, right,
Okay.
with Warren Buffett
Mhm.
and his partner Charlie Munger.
Yeah.
These guys are considered masters, right,
Right.
of both building and preserving wealth.
Yeah.
And they emphasize long-term value, disciplined habits, avoiding those impulsive decisions.
Mhm.
So it's not just about being a savvy investor,
You're right.
but about cultivating that temperament
Yeah.
and that wisdom. That allows you to hold on to those gains and make those sound choices over the long haul. But what about those unpredictable events? Things that can completely throw us off course.
Yeah.
How do we factor in those unknowns when we're planning for our financial future?
Well, that's where this concept of tail events comes in.
Okay.
And the book argues that sometimes success isn't about always being right, but about capitalizing on those rare, game-changing moments that can have, a significant impact.
Tail events. Tell me more about that.
So imagine, a bell curve, right? Where like
Yeah.
most outcomes cluster around the average,
Okay.
but then way out on the tails,
Right.
are these outliers, those unexpected wins or significant losses that can make all the difference.
Okay.
So they're low probability events, but with potentially huge consequences.
So it's not just about playing it safe
Mhm.
or mitigating all risks, but also about recognizing those rare opportunities.
Yeah.
They could have like a massive impact on our financial trajectory.
Mm.
It's almost like embracing uncertainty,
Yeah.
but also staying open to those defining moments.
Exactly. And the book gives several fascinating examples of tail events.
Okay.
Like, take Heinz Berggruen,
Okay.
the art dealer. His success,
Yeah.
wasn't about consistently picking winning pieces. It was about owning a handful of masterpieces within a vast collection. And those few exceptional pieces are what ultimately made him wildly successful.
So even if most of his decisions were like average, those few outliers had a disproportionate impact.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes you think about how we might apply that to like our own financial lives.
Mm.
Maybe it's not about getting every single investment right, but positioning ourselves for those potential breakthroughs.
Precisely. And another great example is Walt Disney. I mean, the guy faced like countless setbacks early in his career.
Oh yeah. I mean, everybody knows the Walt Disney story, right?
Yeah, but the success of, Snow White
Right.
completely transformed his trajectory. I mean, it turned him into like a global icon.
Yeah.
And it was a defining moment that emerged, from years of struggle and perseverance.
It's such a perfect example. It's like all those years of effort
Mhm.
suddenly culminated in this like massive win that redefined his entire career.
Yeah.
It's inspiring to think about how those moments of breakthrough can emerge even after,
Yeah.
periods of uncertainty or difficulty.
For sure. And venture capitalists operate on this very principle.
Hmm.
They invest in like hundreds of startups, knowing that most will fail.
Wow.
Right. But they're betting on those, rare companies that just like skyrocket in value.
Mhm.
And that offsets all those losses. It's a high risk, high reward approach,
Yeah.
that acknowledges the power of tail events.
So it's about having a long-term vision,
Yeah.
being comfortable with a certain level of risk,
Mhm.
and recognizing that success might come in those unexpected bursts rather than a linear upward trajectory.
Mhm.
But with all this talk about financial strategies and tail events, I think it's important to kind of circle back to the bigger picture. What's the point of all this financial planning,
Yeah.
What's the ultimate payoff?
That's a fantastic question.
Yeah.
And one the book really encourages us to explore. And it argues that the true value of wealth,
Yep.
lies in the freedom it buys. Time, choices, the ability to make an impact. It's about using those resources to design a life that's aligned with your values, with your aspirations.
That's such a powerful shift in perspective. It's not about the money itself.
Right.
It's what that money allows you to do.
Right.
The opportunities it opens up, the freedom it provides to,
Yeah.
Pursue your passions, spend time with loved ones, or make a difference in the world.
Exactly. And the book, what it does, it shares stories of people,
Mm.
who have used their financial resources to create a life of purpose and meaning.
Mhm.
One couple sold their successful business and used the proceeds to fund a foundation that supports environmental conservation.
Wow.
Right. They could have just retired to a life of luxury, but they chose to use their wealth,
Right.
to create a positive impact.
That's inspiring. And it really highlights how financial freedom can empower us to live a life that reflects our values, to
Mm.
make choices,
You know?
that align with our passions,
Yeah.
and to leave a legacy
Mm-hmm.
that extends beyond our own personal gain.
Absolutely. And that brings us to this, I think, powerful realization. True financial success isn't just for, a select few.
Right.
It's attainable for anyone who's willing to develop a healthy relationship with money and use it as a tool to create, a life they love. So it's about shifting our focus from scarcity and competition to empowerment and possibility.
I love that. Instead of feeling trapped by your financial circumstances,
Right.
we can start to view money as a tool for liberation,
Yeah.
a way to design a life that reflects who we are and what truly matters to us. It's a message that has the power to transform our entire relationship with money,
Yeah.
making us more intentional, more grateful, and more empowered to create a life of true abundance.
Precisely. And it all starts with examining, our own beliefs and behaviors around money, understanding those psychological forces at play, and then making conscious choices, right?
Yeah.
That align with our values and long-term goals. And I think this book does a really good job of providing, a roadmap
Yeah.
for that journey. It offers practical insights, inspiring examples to guide us along the way.
It's been such a thought-provoking conversation. I feel like it's challenging, like a lot of my assumptions about wealth and success.
Yeah.
I'm walking away with this renewed sense of like clarity and purpose,
Yeah.
when it comes to my own financial journey.
That's fantastic to hear. And remember, this is just the beginning of your exploration, the journey towards a more conscious, a more fulfilling relationship with money.
Yeah.
It's ongoing.
Yeah.
So keep learning, keep challenging those limiting beliefs, and just keep striving to create a life of, true financial freedom and abundance.
This deep dive, it's been a real eye-opener for me. It's like we've been on this journey through like the inner workings of our minds, exploring all those beliefs and patterns that shape how we behave with money.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been pretty fascinating, right? It really does show you how powerful awareness can be. I mean, once we understand like those influences, the ones we usually don't even realize are there,
Right.
then we can start to make choices that are more intentional, more
Right.
empowered.
Exactly. It's like we're shining a light on those blind spots,
Right.
those mental shortcuts that might be holding us back from really achieving our financial goals.
Yeah.
And the best part is, like, this book, it doesn't just leave us with the problem, right? It actually gives us tools.
Right.
It gives us strategies. It gives
Yeah.
us all these inspiring examples that can help us build a healthier relationship with money.
Yeah. And that's what I think makes it so valuable. It's not just, abstract concepts and theories. It's about giving us insights we can actually use
Right.
in our own lives, whether we're just starting out or we've been on this journey for a while.
Yeah, it really makes you question some of those traditional ideas,
Mm-hmm.
about what financial success is. Maybe it's not just about hitting a certain net worth or whatever, but it's more about creating a life where money is that tool for freedom, for fulfillment,
Yeah.
rather than like a source of stress.
Yeah, I think that's a key thing to remember. True financial success, it's not just measured by the numbers in our bank account, but by the quality of our lives, our relationships, how much we contribute to the world.
It's about aligning our financial goals, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
with our values, right?
Mhm.
Finding that sweet spot where money serves our purpose,
Absolutely.
not the other way around.
Yeah.
And I think, this deep dive has given us some valuable tools
Yeah.
and insights to help us do just that.
It really has. And remember, this is just the start of your exploration, this journey towards a more fulfilling, a more conscious relationship with money. It's a journey. It's ongoing.
It is.
So keep learning, keep challenging those beliefs that might be holding you back, and keep striving for that life of abundance.
If this deep dive has really resonated with you, and I bet it has for a lot of our listeners, I highly recommend checking out The Psychology of Money, The Hidden Path to Wealth and Success.
Yeah, such a good read.
It's packed with, fascinating insights and inspiring stories.
Mm.
Really could change how you think about money forever.
It's a game changer for sure. And always remember, the best investment you can make is in yourself. Keep learning, keep growing, keep striving to create that life that really reflects your values, your aspirations.
So well said. Until next time, keep diving deep.